Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Talk About Dwarf Fortress updates. So real quick, I said that this part of it was going to be almost entirely about mining. There are going to be a few small things that I'm going to talk about besides mining. Starting with, if you can see this guy right here, he is carting a piece of hematite because I wanted to test smelting hematite. And as you notice when I unpause it, you can kind of see the speed that everyone else is going at. I mean, look at how ridiculously slow that dwarf is moving. I mean, he's easily only moving one tick for everyone's 10. So, I mean, that right there just kind of shows you the benefits of mine carts and wheelbarrows, because at the rate he's going, it's going to take him forever to get down there to actually, do the smelting that I ordered him to do. So I'm probably going to go ahead and cancel it. Like, really the only reason why I had it there is because I wanted to see if smelting causes more... because I had read that they wanted to make it to where, like, you got more bars out of an ore when you smelted it now, which kind of makes sense because seeing as how they decreased the drops from mining. Like, as you notice, I'm kind of mining out this little area right here. And again, these are all legendary miners, and I would go so far as to say they're actually dropping less stone than... dabbling miners than someone who's just getting started. So, I mean, so little is being dropped when they mine. And this is actually probably going to be a pretty big problem for me in future games because of my opening strategy of just mine until they get really good and then survive off of making stone goods. But, anyway. So pretty much what I'm doing right now is I'm going to set up a little, a little stockpile right here. And once I get everything up and running, like, I'll come back. You'll kind of see everything once it's finished, and I'll definitely show off some minecarts and things like that. Something else that I wanted to show is something that the doors will do now is they will actually take a container, like if they have multiple things to pick up. Now, let's say, for example, I go out here and I have them claim all of these arrows and bolts that were shot. Then a dwarf will come out here with an arrow bin and just pick up, instead of grabbing one arrow and walking all the way back, he'll just come out with a bin and just throw as many as he can into it and head back. And I'll go ahead and pause the recording, and then once one comes out here, I'll show you what they're doing. So I'll be back once that happens. Alright, everyone, so as you can see, I'll go ahead and unpause it. This dwarf right here, he's carrying an ammo bin. You can see it all the way down here at the very bottom of his inventory. And it's already got some stuff in it. But we'll go ahead and unpause it and we'll let him do his thing. So he's going to walk out here and he's just going to pick up... I don't know how many he picks up before he takes the ammo bin back. But... So let's see. Okay, so there's like one... And then the game's going to take forever. Yeah. So you can kind of see, so he picks one up and he moves on to the next one. And he'll do that until either the bin is full or for whatever reason. Something else that, like, if you remember in the last episode, or the first part of this two-part video, or however many parts it's going to be, hopefully just two. You remember I was having people pick up wood with wheelbarrows. Apparently that's not necessary because they still move just as fast, or at least if they move slower, it's not really a noticeable difference with the wood. So don't use wheelbarrows with the wood stockpile. It just takes them. It just adds to the amount of time it takes them to collect things. I'm thinking the only stockpiles that it's really worthwhile to have wheelbarrows on. I mean, depending on whether or not they add more than one item into the wheelbarrow. I mean, they obviously don't with trees. They only do one at a time, so it's not worth your time. I'm thinking would be furniture and stone stockpiles. But I don't know, I haven't really messed with furniture yet, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'll do some... I mean, definitely experiment in your own. I mean, like, I'm not really going to do a step-by-step, oh, this is a good one to use, and this isn't a good... I mean, just kind of pay attention to your own dwarves and see which ones move slower and which ones don't, you know. I mean, it's just kind of up to your own judgment. Everyone has their own play style. But yeah, I think, other than the rest of the mining things I wanted to talk, other than the tracks and the minecarts that I wanted to talk about, that is probably going to be it for all the minor updates. I can't really think of anything else offhand. that I wanted to talk about or show off that was new. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here. I still got a bunch of stuff to set up with the tracks themselves. Apparently a herbalist just gave birth to a girl. So, like I said, I'm gonna cut the video here, and I will be back once I have some stuff set up to show off. So, well, I guess something I can show off real quick. Well, no, yeah, I'll be back once I got some more stuff to show off. So I'll be back in a bit. Alright everyone, so I've almost finished my, I've been doing a lot of trial and error with the track building, and something that I wanted to point out that I think I've got figured out is when you're looking at a track, as you can see in the top corner, this says Dolomite Track, and it has in parentheses N and S. Now, what I'm pretty sure this means is that the track can go, a cart on this track can go, like the cart extends in both, or the track extends in both the north and south directions, so it's connected. But like, for example, if we go down here to this bit of track that I started building, like this just says north, right? So the way I see it is that this track only connects to the track north of it. Like, see, this one says north-south, right? And like this corner says southeast. So the track extends in those two directions. The problem comes in with ramps, because when you're building it, like when you go to build a track, if you remember, you do D and then capital T for carved track. So if you watch, like, see, now that little area is selected, so if you just try to double-click it, or double-select it, it won't build it. It needs a direction for the track to go. So you select it, and then you move in a direction, and then it'll say, okay, we're going to build a track from here to here. But I don't want to do that yet, so I'm going to erase it. So what that'll do, though, is, so when you go to build, like, say right here, like this is a ramp, right? So if you just select just the ramp and move up here, then the game is going to think that you only want the track to go from here to here. So the ramp will only have, in this case, the ramp, and this is how I screwed up, the ramp will only have a connection, like, see, this says Dolomite Upward Track with N in parentheses, so it only connects to the track to the north of it. It does not connect to this track, which I screwed up on this one too. This one only says south, right? Luckily, if you screw up on tracks that you carve, you just go into designations and you smooth the stone out, right? So we just select it and smooth it, and then what'll happen is your dwarves will just come and they'll pretty much just smooth over the stone, getting rid of the tracks, and then it'll give you fresh stuff to work. Like you can carve stone into smooth, or you can carve tracks into smooth stone, so if you screw up, you can just kind of do it endlessly. What I wanted to, the way you fix that, like, see, this track says east-west. So when you're going to designate tracks, when you go to select it, you would start, wherever you want it to come from, you would select it, and then you would go one past the track, like that, or the ramp, like that. So once it's built, they know that you want the track to connect both east and west, right? So I believe that's how you, like, the wiki was saying something else about it, but it didn't really make a ton of sense. Like, I couldn't figure out what it meant, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. Like, you can read it yourself. It was saying something weird, but so yeah, so I've almost got that finished. As you can see, I kind of messed up on a lot of these tracks because I had to go back and re-smooth a lot of them, so I'm trying to get that fixed up. But I mean, basically that's all there is. I mean, like, that's pretty much all there is. Like, once the track is built, what you want to do is you hit H for set up routes. Let me go ahead and remove both of these so I can show you how to do it from scratch. So H used to be hotkeys, but now, as you can see, lowercase h, where are you, is hauling, right? So you select hauling, and it says you have no routes. So you hit R, and, like, as you can see, I've kind of been messing with it, so I'm up to route 5. So this is just a route you set up. So then you're gonna put the cursor where you want it, and you hit S for new stop. And as you can see, it puts a stop right there. And then at this point, you're gonna define the stop. So you hit Enter, and it gives it a list of guidelines for what you want the cart to do. So you can set, departure conditions. So if you hit that, or I'm sorry, hit new departure condition. So you can add a set of, excuse me. Like, these are all the things. Like, the cart will depart in it'll depart immediately if it's full of whatever item you want it to be full of. After 14 days, if it has at least 50% of the desired item, it'll leave. And after 28 days, regardless of how full it is, they'll just go ahead and send it on its way. Right, so those are the 3 conditions that it automatically comes with, but you can change those. So for example, if we hit P, or well, first, like you would select the condition you want to change. So we'll just go ahead and do the top one. So if you hit P, it changes it from guide to push, and then to ride, and then back to guide again. And the way I understand it is with guide, the dwarf actually comes, even though like they move with the cart the whole way, like they use their own physical power to move the cart. Push, they just walk up behind it and they just push it and let it go on, it'll just go by itself. Which is funny. It can lead to some pretty hilarious things, like it'll run over animals. Like with guide, it almost won't ever run over anything. And then finally you have ride, and the dwarves will kind of get it up to speed and they'll hop into it, right? And then they'll just like ride in the cart down the tracks, which will make it go faster. But again, it doesn't really have a whole lot of it doesn't have as much control as guide, right? Let me see what else. Okay, and then change condition. So condition has to do with the second one. So right now it says when full of desired items. You can change it to when empty, at least 50%, or always. And those are all the things. And then you can change the where is it? Oh, you hit enter, and you can tell it what you want them to put in the cart. So it's almost always going to be stone. So you enable that, and then you can tell them like all stone, or at this point you just set it up like a regular stockpile. You can specify exactly what you want them to transport, on and on and on. The last part is for this. Where is it? Oh, change condition. I already talked about that. Oh, direction. Direction is important. So it starts off by north on default, but if you hit D for direction, then it'll change, south, east, west, and then back to north again. So that's important because you have to tell it which way you want it to go on the tracks. And obviously it's not going to go in a direction that the track doesn't go. And then S is you can tell it to take from a specific stockpile. And then at this point, like, it just kind of operates like normal. So you hit P, yeah. So you mouse over the stockpile you want, and then you hit P. So it knows that it's only going to take goods from this stockpile, which in this case is going to be hematite. And then you go in. Let me just go ahead and set this up real quick. So block all hematite, and then it's pretty much good to go at that point. Oh, you can also do capital C, so where you can get really specific if you want to, right? So you can do F for, or lowercase f and capital F. You can do M for more or less. So you can switch it to always at, and then you can, where is it? That's not right. Always at 100%. How do you go up and down? I think it's not that. No, it's not that either. Desired total. Is it L? I don't know. I haven't really messed with the. I probably won't ever mess with the advanced settings. But that's pretty much all you have to do at that point. The other thing you can do is once you have it set up, like, it won't do anything if there's no vehicle. So you just hit V, and then I only have one minecart in this case. It's the oaken minecart, and you select that, and then it's good to go. But that's just for this top part of the route. Like, once we go down here, we would set up a new stop right here. And then, okay, so as you can see, this is something else that's going to pop up too. So if there's something wrong with the track, like if the track's not connected, if the two stops do not have a connecting, if there's no track connecting them, then this is going to set up. So this is kind of how you diagnose your tracks for, things like this. Or your routes, I should say. And really, I mean, that's really all you have to do for a regular route. I mean, you can just kind of leave it at that. And then like your dwarves will kind of take care of it. If you want to get really specific, I'm going to go ahead and remove all this, just because. If you want to get really specific, then you can actually build, excuse me, like track stops. So we're going to go into B, and then I believe it is capital C. Yeah. So here's a track stop. And a track stop is something you build directly into it. You build directly onto the track that you built, or carved, or whatever. So here it has friction. You can set it to highest or lowest, and anywhere in between. And what friction does is it slows the cart down. So highest is it's basically going to bring the cart to a complete stop. Lowest, it's just going to slow it down a little bit. You can also set it to dump on arrival, yes or no. Or I'm sorry, not yes or no. North, south, east, or west. In this case, once I set this up, I'd want it to dump north. Or I guess, no, not really. Like, you really don't have to use track stops or, what is the other one? Rollers. Supposedly, you don't have to use track stops or rollers at all. If you have it to where your minecarts are completely pushed by dwarves, well, no, I take that back. You do have to use rollers, because why do you have to use rollers? Oh, rollers are the only way to get a minecart up a ramp. Because I guess supposedly, like, if a dwarf is pushing a cart, he won't be able to push it up the ramp. It'll fall back and hit him. And you need rollers to do it, but rollers have to be powered by, what is that? They have to be, like, you have to set them up to be powered by something. So either a dwarven generator, which I'm not going to get into how to make because it's a whole other thing, or a gear. I mean, like, really, you just kind of, it's basically, you just have to kind of set up. Like, I think you can use a screw pump, or a water mill, or a windmill, or any combination of those. However you like to power things, rollers have to be powered. Excuse me. So yeah, I mean, like, this looks like it's going to take a lot of trial and error on my part, and like I said before, I'm not very good at dwarven science at all, so I fully expect to screw these up a whole bunch. I mean, that's basic. That's just the basics. I'm probably not even really qualified to be demonstrating this, which is probably why I'm not doing a tutorial. I'm just kind of showing off the basics, the basics. If you really want an in-depth tutorial of how to do tracks and things like that, I would look elsewhere for that. It's going to take me a while to figure it out. It's going to take me a lot of experimentation and probably a lot of dwarven deaths, which, while funny, I don't have a lot of time for in this video for obvious reasons. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's it. I'm going to go ahead and review all the things that I've talked about off screen, just to kind of make sure there's nothing else I want to bring up. So I will be back in a bit to see whether or not this is the end of the video. We'll see you then. Alright, everyone. So there are a few other things that I wanted to show off, like, for example, something they've added is if you go into view, like, you can do this with anything, people, items, doesn't matter. If you select them and you hit F, the camera will actually follow them. So as you can see, like, the camera's, like, as this guy moves, the camera automatically goes a step to follow him each direction. Right now what my guys are doing is they are filling up that minecart. Well, not filling it, but they're gonna put some they're putting some hematite in it. And once it's ready, like, I've kind of set up something basic. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to do the minecarts. You know, because I'm still not entirely sure what I want to happen. But, like, the way I have this set up right now is once it gets up to 25% full, they're just going to push it, and it's going to go by itself. And then I've set up something at the bottom to where you'll see once someone actually sends it on its way. And why are there trousers? So as you can see right now, this minecart has three pieces of hematite in it. So man, they move so slow with ore now. I kind of wish they used the wheelbarrows, but I know it doesn't work. I mean, like, I'm wondering if there's a way to set it up to where you can have them, because when they take something, when they're collecting something for a stockpile, that's the only time they use wheelbarrows, right? But once once it's there, if they need to get it from that stockpile, then they won't use the wheelbarrow. They'll just grab it and move it by hand. So, I don't know. We shall see how this goes. Okay, there we go. Okay, so as you can see, that dwarf just walked up, and he pushed that minecart, so it's moving by itself. So, I already have it set to default. We're just going to go ahead and follow this minecart. So it's kind of hard to see because like the tracks are black and the minecart itself is just a black square. But, so as you can see, it's going by itself unheated because I have it set up to push. So it's going to hit that ramp and go, and then it's going to keep going and going. And crash. Oops. And then what it's supposed to do is I built a track stop and I have it set to the highest friction. So it's supposed to stop that cart dead. Which it did. And then I also have it set up to dump its contents north. But as you saw, all of those, it lost all of its cargo on this ramp right here. So as you can see, that is 1, 2, 3, that is 5 things of hematite. Oh, that's ridiculous. Okay. So like I said before, I obviously still have a lot to figure out when it comes to minecarts. So doing it like that, I mean, you obviously don't want to push it. You probably want to have it, be guided by a dwarf. The way I have it set right now is since there's no way for me to reliably get the minecart back up the ramps by pushing it, I don't have, like if I go into the hauling screen, I only have the one stop at the very beginning. And what the dwarves will do is once it gets pushed, see, since there's a red B right there, it means there's a vehicle assigned to it, but it's not actually on the track. So we'll let this sit for a second, and then some dwarf should be assigned the job to go and collect this minecart and put it back at the very start. So let's see if that's coming up. Yeah, see, place track vehicle. So this dwarf is going to go down here and he's going to pick up this minecart and he's going to put it back at the very top. But really that's not working very well for me right now. So what I'm going to want to do, the last thing I actually want to show you guys is the output of the ore. So I'm going to pause the video real quick and I'll get some ore down into this stockpile so it's really close. Or actually I'll just come back once I have one in the smelter so I can show you guys that. So I'll do that and I'll come back and show you what happens. Alright, so this dwarf right here is taking some ore and he should smelt it. And as you can see real quick, there's nothing in these smelters. They're completely empty. So as soon as he gets in there, he's taking his sweet time. Now I'm pretty sure I know how many this makes because I did try to smelt some earlier, but I wasn't paying attention, and I was kind of looking at the stock screen. So I'm pretty sure I know how many bars that this one ore is going to make. But we'll see. We'll see in a second. As soon as this guy gets back, I'm going to pause it until he gets back with the charcoal. Okay, here he comes. That was quick. So he should smelt this ore real fast. And then as soon as he moves, I will jump on the T button real fast. So he's taking a little bit of time. I think it's because he's not a legendary smelter. He's just really slow. So I think the moral of this story is definitely experiment with minecarts. Set up some tracks, try to figure out the mechanics for yourself. But I would stick to wheelbarrows, or I know I'm going to stick to wheelbarrows until I can figure out the intricacies, and I'm just going to make sure I put my stockpiles, or at least the ore and the stone stockpiles, really close to their workshops, like either right around them or smack dab on them. I'm gonna have to change some of my layouts a little bit so I can figure this whole thing out. Man, dude, what is taking you so long? Come on. You were taking forever. You are so slow. I kind of want to pause the video until he's done. Because I have no idea how long it's going to take him. But I'm afraid that once I pause it, I'll be like, oh, I'm finished. So, you know what? I am going to go ahead and do that. I'll just pause it, and then once he's done, I'll come right back on the spot. I promise you there won't be any tricks on my end. Alright, so what I said was going to happen basically exactly happened. As soon as I paused the video, he's like, oh, I'm done. Okay, so that one ore made 4 iron bars. Yeah, pretty. I mean, like, even though it's kind of cutting down on, I don't know how I really feel about it. I mean, I thought it was more than that, but yeah. So I mean, even though it cuts down quite a bit on the number of drops that you get from ore, it increases the amount of bars you get it by 4, obviously, since you get 4 iron bars now instead of 1. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's it for this update, or for me talking about the new updates with Dwarf Fortress. You know, I mean, I'm probably gonna keep trying to experiment with the minecarts, figure some stuff out. I encourage all of you to do the same, because I mean, it was definitely. I mean, it's a little frustrating when you get it wrong, but once you get it right, it's definitely a lot of fun. But I think that describes Dwarf Fortress in general. Yeah. So, I can't really think of anything else that I want to talk about. Oh, I do want to show off this. So, my Vampire King, he's also my mayor. That doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. Oh, also he's like mandated like 3 things. He wants shields, cages, and he wants me to keep cages. So, whatever. I hate you, Vampire King. Hate your bones. Anyway, like I said, that should be it. I'm probably not gonna do. I mean, I'm the next couple of videos after this. I'm gonna continue on with my adventurer let's play. So yeah, I mean, this update was kind of fun. I may or may not keep doing them as more updates for Dwarf Fortress comes out. I might just do them every major update. I don't know. I don't really know what the future of my Dwarf Fortress Let's Plays are going to be. I might lay off it for a little bit. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. But anyway, I hope you got something out of this update. I certainly did, because like I said, I kind of went into this blind. Thank you very much for watching, and join me next time.